Good afternoon, everyone. So Virgo, I have to just say it because I tuned into your energy today, expecting something. I always come in with a sense of what I might find, and what I actually found stopped me completely. Because what is happening around you right now, what is being directed at you from a very specific direction by a very specific person, is the kind of energy that you feel before you even fully understand it. The kind that has a temperature, a pulse, a quality of intensity that is almost uncomfortable in how undisguised it is. Someone is feeling something for you so strongly that I genuinely don't know how you're not feeling it from wherever you are right now. And when I say strongly, I need you to understand what I mean, because I'm not talking about a quiet, gentle, slowly developing kind of feeling. I'm not talking about someone who thinks about you occasionally and wonders. I'm talking about the kind of feeling that takes up space, that is present and loud and almost physically felt by the person experiencing it. The kind where they look at you or think about you or hear your name or encounter anything even remotely connected to you, and something in their chest does something that they cannot control and cannot explain away. You are doing something to this person without trying, without even necessarily being aware of it, simply by existing, by being who you are, by carrying the energy you carry. You are having an effect on someone that is genuinely significant. And the word that keeps arriving when I sit with this energy, the word I keep feeling press forward, is young. There is a youthfulness to this energy. And I want to be careful about how I describe this because it's specific and I want to get it right. For some of you, this is literally someone younger than you in age, in years, in the stage of life they're in. For others, it's someone who carries a young energy, vibrant, alive, not yet worn down by years of guarding themselves, still in that place where feelings are felt fully and expressed with a freshness that older, more defended versions of us sometimes lose access to. Either way, and this is the part that matters, what this person feels for you has not been filtered, has not been managed or moderated or passed through the kind of careful internal editing that people do when they've been hurt enough times to know better. What they feel is raw, real, um, right at the surface, and it is pointed directly at you with an intensity that is honestly a lot, in the best possible way. Let me see if I can get even more specific, because I think that's what this reading needs. Not beautiful generalities, specifics. Things you can hold and recognize and say, yes, yes, that's them. That's exactly what I've been sensing without fully knowing how to name it. What I feel first about this person is admiration, but not the surface kind, not the kind where someone finds you attractive and leaves it at that. A deeper, more complex admiration. The kind that comes from actually paying attention, from watching you, really watching you, how you move through situations, how you handle difficulty, how you treat people, how you carry yourself, and being genuinely, almost overwhelmingly impressed by what they see. This person thinks about you in superlatives. I feel that. in the quiet of their own mind, when they're being fully honest with themselves about what they feel, the words they reach for are the biggest ones, the most, the best, unlike anyone. These are the words that orbit their thoughts about you. And those superlatives don't feel like exaggeration to them, they feel like accuracy. They genuinely believe you are something rare. And here's what I find so fascinating about this energy. What makes it feel different from the usual admiration dynamic? It's that this person is simultaneously drawn toward you and slightly undone by you. Like your presence creates in them a specific kind of beautiful chaos where everything they thought they knew about what they wanted, what they were looking for, what kind of person moves them, gets rearranged quietly, completely, without your permission and without their full consent. You rearranged something in them, and they haven't fully recovered. And honestly, and I feel this clearly, they don't entirely want to. Let me sit with this energy for a moment because there's something specific I'm picking up and I want to name it accurately. Yes, I feel it now. There is a wish. Something this person has been carrying, not just a passing thought, not a fleeting fantasy, but a genuine, recurring, increasingly insistent wish about you, about what they want for you, what they want from you, what they want with you. And the nature of this wish has a quality that I find genuinely moving when I tune into it. They don't just want to be near you, they want to be chosen by you. There's a distinction there, and it matters. Wanting to be near someone is passive. Wanting to be chosen by someone is active. It requires the other person's participation, their decision, their deliberate turning toward you. And what this person is wishing for, what they are hoping for, with a specificity and a longing that has become something they carry around with them daily, is that you look at them, really look at them, and decide that what you see is worth choosing. That wish is alive in them right now as we speak. Now, I want to speak about something that I feel is important to name clearly because I sense that there may be an element of this that has felt surprising to you or that you've been aware of but haven't quite known how to process. Because when someone younger or someone who carries that quality of youthful, unguarded intensity directs this much feeling toward you, the natural response is sometimes a complicated mixture of things. Flattered, yes, but also slightly uncertain, slightly unsure what to do with it. Maybe even slightly dismissive, not from cruelty, but from that quiet disbelief that says, can this be as real as it feels? Can someone feel this much, this quickly? Is this the sustainable kind of feeling, or is it the bright, burning, burns itself out kind? And I want to speak directly to that question because I feel it sitting in you and I think it deserves a real answer. What I'm sensing from this person is not infatuation in the hollow sense, not the shallow fascination with an image of you that hasn't been tested against reality. Because I feel that this person has seen you in real moments, not just your highlights, not just the version of you that shows up when everything is going well and you're at your most confident and most impressive. They've seen you in the ordinary moments too. And the ordinary moments, if anything, deepened what they feel. because you are the kind of person who is actually more interesting, more real, more compelling in the ordinary moments than in the performed ones. And this person noticed that the feeling they carry is not a projection, it is a response, a genuine, specific, U-shaped response to the actual reality of who you are. And that makes it real in a way that matters. Let me talk about the heart attack quality of this energy, because that's the word the universe kept pressing forward when I was preparing for this reading. And I don't use a word like that without understanding why it's coming up. What I feel is that when you fully reciprocate, when you turn toward this person in the way they've been hoping you will, when they realize that the feeling isn't just one directional, when the moment arrives where it becomes clear that what they've been wishing for is actually possible, it is going to undo them in the most beautiful way. Like something they've been holding their breath for finally arriving when they'd almost convinced themselves to stop expecting it. Like a feeling so large and so good that the body doesn't entirely know how to process it at first. And I feel this specifically a moment where they look at you and something in their chest expands so suddenly and so completely that it is almost too much. Almost. Not quite, but close. That's the heart attack energy. Not fear, not loss. Joy so large it overwhelms the container momentarily before the container expands to hold it. You are going to do that to this person. And I want you to sit with how it feels to know that, because I think how it feels tells you something important about how you actually feel about them. Because here's what I also sense in your energy, and I want to name it because I think it's been operating underneath everything, influencing more than you've consciously realized. You feel something too, maybe not at the same intensity, maybe not with the same unguarded expressiveness, but something, a pull, an awareness that this person is not just background, that they are specific in a way that registers, that there are moments with them or moments thinking about them where something in you stirs that isn't entirely comfortable because it isn't entirely small. Something stirs. And you've been doing what people do with stirrings that feel inconvenient or unexpected or slightly too significant for what you thought this was. You've been filing it somewhere manageable, giving it a smaller name than it deserves, moving past it before you have to decide what it actually means. I understand that. I understand the instinct to manage something before it can grow into something that requires a decision. Because decisions about feelings, especially when someone else is involved, especially when there's potential for something genuinely significant, are both exciting and terrifying in equal measure. But I want to say something. The stirring you've been filing away, it knows something. It is pointing at something real. And this reading, this moment, this specific accumulation of energy around you and this person, it is an invitation to stop filing and start actually feeling what's there. What is there when you let yourself stop managing it? Sit with that. Not here, not now necessarily, but today. At some point today, in a quiet moment, let yourself actually sit with what you feel when you think about this person without immediately putting it somewhere safe. Because that feeling, whatever it actually is, when you stop managing it, that's your truth. And your truth is worth knowing. Now let me speak about what this person wishes for you, because I feel it and it's beautiful and I think you need to hear it. They wish for your happiness, not in the generic, I hope good things happen for you sense. In the specific, I have thought about what would actually make you happy and I want that for you sense. The kind of wishing that comes from having paid genuine attention, from knowing enough about you to know what lights you up versus what drains you, what makes you genuinely laugh versus what makes you politely smile, what you want when you're being honest versus what you say you want when you're being careful. They know the difference. They've been paying that kind of attention. They also wish to be a part of that happiness, not as the solution to everything, not as someone who believes they can fix what's difficult or simplify what's complex, but as a genuine, present, consistent part of your life that adds something real, that makes the good days better and the hard days more bearable, that is simply, reliably, authentically there. That quality of wishing to be a consistent, genuine, present part of someone's life is not casual. It is not the wish of someone in the early, shiny stage of infatuation where everything looks beautiful because you haven't seen enough to see the difficulty. It is the wish of someone who has thought seriously about what a real connection actually requires and who is genuinely willing to show up for that reality for you. Specifically for you. And they wish, and I feel this one with a particular softness that I want to try to convey accurately. They wish you knew how much they think about you, how significant you are in their inner world, how often you appear in their thoughts in moments that have nothing to do with you and everything to do with the fact that you've become, for them, a kind of default, the thing the mind returns to when it's left to wander freely. They wish you could see yourself through their eyes for just a moment, because they believe that if you could see what they see when they look at you, it would change something. It would revise something in the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you deserve, and whether someone could feel this strongly about the real you rather than some idealized version. They see the real you, and what they see makes them feel something they weren't prepared for. Let me speak to the energy of what's coming, because I feel something building around this connection that is moving toward a point of expression, a moment where what has been internal, felt deeply, thought about constantly, wished for quietly, begins to move outward, to become visible, to ask for something in return, rather than continuing to exist only in one person's private experience. I feel that this person is reaching a threshold, the place where staying silent becomes harder than speaking, where the wish becomes something that needs to be said or shown or expressed in some way that crosses the distance between what they feel and what you know. And that threshold is close. I feel it as imminent rather than eventual, as something that is actively approaching rather than something theoretical in the future. Which means the question that's actually relevant right now is not whether they feel it. They feel it completely, overwhelmingly, in a way that is frankly a little breathtaking when you tune into the full extent of it. The question is what you're going to do when it arrives in front of you. When it stops being something you sense or wonder about and becomes something you're actually faced with. A look that holds too long to be casual. A conversation that goes somewhere neither of you planned. A moment where the energy between you shifts from something that can be explained away into something that cannot. What are you going to choose? And I want to say something about that choice before you have to make it, because I think the way we prepare for a choice matters almost as much as the choice itself. The internal position we're in when the moment arrives determines whether we respond from our fear or from our truth. If you arrive at that moment still in the place of managing and filing and keeping things carefully small, you will respond from the managed place. And the managed response will probably be some version of pulling back, of not fully meeting what's being offered, of allowing the moment to pass without fully receiving it. And that pulling back, I want to be honest, will cost you something. Not catastrophically, not permanently, but something. Because this person, with their unguarded feeling and their genuine wish and their almost overwhelming hope for you to turn toward them, they will feel the pullback. And it will land in them in the particular painful way that a door closing lands when you are standing right outside it, hand raised, ready to knock. I don't tell you that to pressure you. I tell you because I think you deserve to make this choice consciously, knowing what's actually at stake, knowing what's actually being offered, rather than letting the moment pass by default because you weren't fully present enough in your own feeling to meet it. So here is what I want to offer you as practical, grounded preparation. First, let yourself acknowledge privately and honestly what you actually feel about this person, not what makes sense to feel, not what's convenient or safe or easy to explain. What you actually feel when you stop managing it, give that feeling a real name. Let it be as large as it actually is without immediately trimming it down to something more manageable. Second, pay attention in the next interactions you have with this person, not with the hyper-vigilant attention of someone who is analyzing every signal, with the soft, open attention of someone who is genuinely present, because presence picks up things that analysis misses. And what this person is communicating in the small moments, in the way they direct their attention, in the specific quality of how they are with you versus how they are with everyone else. It's all there if you're actually present enough to receive it. Third, release the age thing or the stage of life thing or whatever version of that concern is living in you around this connection. Because what I feel between you has nothing to do with the numbers and everything to do with the energy. And the energy is real. The energy is serious. The energy is not something to be dismissed because one of you is younger or at a different point in their external life journey. Feelings don't check credentials before they arrive. And what this person feels for you is not less valid, not less real, not less worthy of being taken seriously because of their age or their stage. If anything, and I feel this, the unguardedness of it, the freshness of it, the fact that it hasn't been filtered through years of emotional self-protection makes it more genuine, not less. Don't let a number talk you out of something real. And finally, the most important preparation of all, decide right now, before the moment arrives, that you are going to show up for this honestly. Whatever your honest response is, not the managed response, not the protective response, the honest one. Because honesty, even when it's complicated, even when it doesn't fit a neat narrative, is what creates real connection. And real connection is what both you and this person actually deserve. You both deserve the real thing, not the careful version, the real one. I want to paint something for you before we close, because I think you need to feel where this is pointing rather than just understand it intellectually. Imagine a moment not far from now where you look at this person and you let yourself really see what's there. Not what you've decided should be there, not what's convenient or expected or fits the story you've been telling yourself about what this is, what's actually there. And what you see when you really let yourself see it is someone looking back at you with the kind of feeling that most people spend years hoping to find. Someone whose eyes carry something so specific and so directed and so entirely focused on you that there is no interpreting required, no wondering, no reading between the lines. Just clarity, raw, beautiful, slightly overwhelming clarity. And in that moment, the moment where you see it fully and they see you seeing it, something happens between you that cannot be undone. Something real and irreversible and entirely worth whatever it costs to arrive at it. That moment is coming. It is moving toward you right now as we speak, carried by someone who has been wishing for it longer than you know. Meet it with your whole self, with your honest heart, with everything you actually feel when you stop protecting yourself from your own truth. Meet it fully, because what's waiting on the other side of that meeting, what becomes possible when two people stop managing and start actually feeling in the same direction at the same time, is the kind of thing that changes the quality of your life from the inside out. And you deserve that. Deeply, completely, without conditions or caveats or fine print. You deserve to be loved with that kind of young, alive, unguarded, overwhelming, heart-stopping intensity. And someone is ready to give it to you. The only question left is whether you're ready to receive it. I believe you are. More ready than you know. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you know who this is? Does this land somewhere specific in your life right now? I want to hear from you. I genuinely want to know what stirs in you when you hear this, because this community is real and your experience matters here. And share this with someone who needs to be reminded that being loved really fully with that alive and unguarded and overwhelming quality is still possible, that it still exists. That somewhere in their life right now, someone might be feeling exactly this and they just haven't seen it yet. It's there. For you, for them, it has always been there.